Cats and Giddies. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video I want to talk about Doctor Who once again, this time relating to somewhat of a speculatory, sort of probably improbable line of thinking, but something that was born out of watching The Name of the Doctor again recently. I kind of had a mini marathon going on where I was watching The Name of the Doctor, The Night of the Doctor, The Day of the Doctor. Didn't quite get around to The Time of the Doctor as of the time of this recording, and I swear I can't stand some of those titles because they're so similar I keep getting them confused. But essentially, there was a scene in The Name of the Doctor that I pretty much cast by the wayside at this point, to do with, basically as that episode is unfolding and dealing with the grand mystery of the impossible girl that is Clara Oswald. We're finding that very much akin to, Kal-El in the movie Man of Steel. She's being kind of guided and led around by a holographic ghostly river song. And it's very interesting because, of course, when this episode culminates, it's within the, TARDIS console room, former console room. The console's no longer there, and what is in its place is the Doctor's time scar. And essentially, once the Great Intelligence has leapt inside it and is unwinding the Doctor's whole history, destroying it and all that stuff, becoming a virus and a plague to it, basically that's when Clara decides to jump into it and save the Doctor. And so there's already been sort of, whispers and aggravation from Whovians and such like that. Why should Clara have this much influence over the Doctor and all that kind of stuff? But I want to focus on the aspect of some words River departs with what is essentially, to be taken as her swan song, at least thus far, and basically Moffat could have thrown a wrench in the works, and we'll see her again sometime soon. She was referenced in The Caretaker, so who knows, might have been put in there as a reminder, hey, she's still around. But basically, when she's about to sign off for the last time, because we understand this is post-Silence in the Library and all that stuff, basically she says something about, well, Clara's gone, but I was connected to her. That's how I was here. She's gone, and I'm still here, and, you're interacting with me. What's up with that? Which prompts the Doctor naturally to ask, I don't know, what is up with that? And, of course, she retorts with her usual spoilers. So I basically cast this by the wayside long ago because I felt it was probably explainable in the moment that, with Clara being inside the Doctor's psyche, the connection was open, and that's why the Doctor could suddenly interact with her maybe. Maybe, the Doctor was fronting that he could always see her and all this stuff. You're not quite sure, but I felt like that was explanation enough. And then you get to episodes in Series 8, like Listen, where we see Clara has a sort of paradoxical influence on the Doctor, in very much the same way the Doctor has had influence for the positive on her. And going back to his childhood, where he was very vulnerable and afraid and scared, terrified of nightmares and ghouls in the night, bogeymen and all that kind of stuff. And then following on from there, The Caretaker, where we see the Doctor is very much, concerned for Clara, when especially she is sidled up with, as the Doctor learns, Danny Pink and all this stuff, and everything we've seen about in the one episode, I forget the title off the top of my head, where Clara seemingly goes to the future. She has such a strong thought process connected to Danny Pink. She sees him as a child, but then they go whisked to the way, way far future, where she meets potentially her progeny, great-great-grandson and all this stuff, who basically acknowledges the fact that his parents were time travelers. Could they have been, is where I'm going with this, sort of picking at the loose threads and everything like that, knowing what Moffat is potentially capable of. Could they have been not just time travelers, but Time Lords? Could there be a connection, sort of genetically, between the Doctor and Clara that would allow for River Song to transcend her communicative barrier at that point in The Name of the Doctor, knowing as much as she does about the Doctor and knowing how important Clara is to him and all this kind of stuff? Could there be a connection? Could there be a timey-wimey connection between Clara and the Doctor that relates maybe back to a line from the 1996 TV movie where Paul McGann's Doctor basically said that he was half human on his mother's side? And of course we have the speculation of that one particular two-parter, the name of which of course escapes me as well off the top of my head, with David Tennant's Doctor and meeting that woman. Basically Wilf had met that woman in ghostly form, very much akin to how River Song was displayed in Name of the Doctor, who basically Russell T Davies says was intended to be the Doctor's mother and all this stuff. So it kind of this whole percolating idea, this line of thinking, again, probably highly improbable, but not entirely impossible, could we end up finding out that with all these mitigating circumstances, red herrings left and right, like this Missy person who some people think could be someone like a former companion, Amy Pond, who could be the master, who could be herself an incarnation of Clara, broken down or possessed or what have you, referring to the Doctor as a boyfriend, and of course there's been lots of references, even going back to Deep Breath, where the Matt Smith Doctor, was said to have considered Clara his girlfriend and all this stuff. Even Capaldi's Doctor apologizes to her for his mistake, as he acknowledges it, that he would be considered her boyfriend and all this stuff. Again, in The Caretaker, we see him mistaking the fact that Clara's infatuated with a fellow teacher, and he thinks it's the Matt Smith look-alike and all this stuff. So it's like, why is the Doctor so concerned about Clara? He's been concerned about companions in the past. He's been in love with at least one of them. He's been concerned about their lives and has always been saving lives at random across the universe. But what is it that makes Clara so integral, seemingly, to so many episodes and so many plot threads? Why does the connectivity between she and the Doctor seem stronger than anything we've seen before, I guess is the question. And so my line of thinking, sort of picking at all these different threads that seemingly could be just unrelated, could be happenstance, coincidence, I started thinking, well, maybe there is more to it. Maybe down the line, we know what Moffat is capable of. We've seen what he's done with the 50th anniversary and other stories, sort of reworking the Doctor's history and being willing to go back to his childhood in Listen and everything like that, which again got uproarious reactions from some people and I thought was actually quite brilliant and touching. Even more so, they've built upon that sort of rapport between Clara and the Doctor in The Caretaker. So yeah, I'm just kind of left wondering, is there more to it? And how much more to it could there be, especially with Moffat behind the reins? It just has me boggled. It just has me really, for the first time in a little while now, speculating hardcore. Like, wow, could this actually be the direction they're going, for better or worse? And then, of course, I'd be somewhat remiss if I didn't call upon that other line of thinking relating back to Silence in the Library with Cal and his Clara, Cal, Charlotte Abigail Lux, I think was the girl's name, Dr. Moon. We have an episode upcoming called Kill the Moon. As of the time of this recording, Riversong is part of that program now. And, could Missy be? Could this place that's heaven, air quotes, or, utopia, could that be within a program very much like, or the exact same program? Could Missy be Clara, sort of a degraded program, or maybe even an incarnation of Riversong? Why is Riversong getting name-dropped at this point? And we have rumors that, of course, Jenna Coleman may be leaving toward the end of the series, and things are going to be never the same again, and all these kind of quotes and everything. So that's another line of thinking that is just as valid as the one I presented in the first three-quarters of this video. And so yeah, I'd like to throw it out to you guys, my fellow Whovians. Respond in the comments below or as a video response, whatever floats your boat, essentially. Do you think there could be more of a connection between the Doctor and Clara than we as yet have even begun to contemplate? Or could it just be, happenstances and coincidences between a bunch of unrelated storylines, and it's really not going anywhere along those lines? Basically, let me know what you think below, or, as I say, a video response. And yeah, I think this is a great topic for discussion. Maybe it'll go nowhere. Maybe it'll dead end sooner than I think. But then again, maybe we'll be talking about it for the next couple episodes, too. So, otherwise, I hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.